What's up, you booger-eating heathens? How's everybody doing? Vegas Hillbilly. Nice. Juan Solo. Good morning, Danielle. All right, Mack Truck. Don't watch. We'll let you listen. It's all good. Taylor Swift is a dude. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. The Equine Prepper is here, and Ricky's here. 96,300 of you. Love these tremendous eyebrows. The feeling's mutual. I think you have great eyebrows as well. Intel at bearindependent.com is the place that all your intel goes. It's intel at bearindependent.com. Isn't that correct, Tango Charlie? Yes, that is correct. At intel at bearindependent.com, I need y'all to please send intel. Intel is independently verifiable and actionable. Those two things. This report is a collaboration, which is one of those words that high dollar consultants say, like synergy and teamwork and collaborative effort and co-working space. All those things. This is a collaboration. Tremendous. Between y'all, the Bear Nation, the Dance Monkeys, and myself. And so if you don't feed the dance monkeys, they can't poop out a report. And if they can't poop out a report, I don't have anything to talk to y'all about. So please, please. Good morning, Andrew Barnes. Shalom, brother. Please send your intel and your silver linings to intel at bearindependent.com. Yes, pinkies up. Yes, pinkies up. The best collaboration. Mexico did not have to pay for this because the patrons paid for it. That's where you'll find this report. The best patrons. All of the, everyone tells me, more effective than hydroxychloroquine is Patreon and patrons with patronage. J.A. Dudley, good morning. The best Dudley. That Dudley, he's the best Dudley that ever Dudleyed. Dudley, diddly, diddly, Dudley do. Believe me. 29 July 2020. Intel report and tactical toddler? What's up? I love your bow.
Yeah.
Do you want to show the people your bow? No. No? Do you want to say anything to the people? Do you have any news for the Bear Nation? No? You're just chilling? Okay. Are you gonna jump off the porch?
No.
Don't jump off the porch. How many roosters do we have? 4?
40.
40? Yeah, that's a better answer. High five. You gonna leave me hanging? No high five? No high five? Really? Live on television? I thought we were friends, Weez. We are? Friends give each other high fives. Give me a good one. Yeah! Thank you.
Let me see if I can smack it hard.
Smart. Oh! Super hard. Hit me. Ah! Ow! Jeez, stop it. Stop it. He's too strong. Oh. My goodness. Thank you.
We can say bad words.
No, we can't say bad words. That's right. We don't say bad words. Bad words are not good. They're bad. Right?
Well, one day you said a bad
I
word.
said a bad word? What did I say?
Sweetie.
Sweetie? That's not a bad word. You're trash talking now on the internet. All right. Why don't you go like drink some milk or something? Huh? What? Okay. Hey, can I do my show? Yeah, you think so? Where's your brother and sister? Not doing their jobs, clearly. Just falling down on the job.
They're doing their homework.
They're doing their homework?
Yep.
Are they? Did they tell you that? They don't have homework.
They do have homework.
They have homework, huh? Hey, do you think I need a haircut?
No.
No? Do I look good like this? Yeah? You sure? Don't mess with that. That's Mr. Rod's. Cheyenne! Bye. You want to say bye to the people real quick?
No.
Okay, I got to do this, okay? Hey, hey, go find Shiny.
Go find Daddy.
Go find Shiny. Don't make me use my big voice. Go find Shiny. Hold internet. Anyway, back to what's going on in the world with the intel report. 29 July, overview. The number of confirmed cases worldwide and in the United States continues to climb because that's how numbers work. As of the time of this reporting, the official numbers are as follows. Just drink coffee, whatever. It's a lot, it's bad, it's terrible, the world's ending. Maybe the meteors coming in September will just kill us all and we won't have to deal with it anymore. Global cases, 16.765 million. Active, 5.787 million. Global deaths, 659,000. Global recoveries, 10,318,000. U.S. cases, 4,452,000 with 2,160,000 active cases. U.S. deaths, 151,495, and U.S. recoveries, 2.141 million, 2,141,111 recoveries. The rooster agrees. The second stimulus proposal is underway, but now it has a new trendy name. The HEALS Act. It would provide $1,200 checks again, but cuts to unemployment payments. Let's just get comfy. I feel like we're gonna be here a minute. There we go. There we go. Thoughts, opinions, observations. First of all, why does every government program have to have a stupid effing acronym? I mean, I'll answer this. This is a rhetorical question. The reason that every government program has a stupid effing acronym is there are so many stupid effing government programs that they literally cannot keep track of the different programs. So they come up with these cute little acronyms so that they can remember which bill, which act are we trying to, oh, the HEALS Act, that's the one that does the thing with the checks. Yeah, I'm for that. Oh yeah, no, I'm against that, or whatever, right? There is so much government involvement in our lives that they have to put a cute little acronym on everything just to keep track of all the dominion they've taken over your life. I don't know if you can tell from my tone, I'm not necessarily a fan of that. I'm a live and let live kind of guy. Y'all go over there and do your thing. I'll be over here doing my thing. But Bear, who would pave the roads? I don't care. I live in rural Oklahoma. We don't have paved roads anyway. I don't care. So $1,200 checks again, yay? Question mark? Do we just a half yay? A minor huzzah with a question mark on the end? Huzzah? On the one hand, I think there are people that definitely need that $1,200. On the other hand, there's people that still haven't gotten their first $1,200, Raise your hand if you're a white male small business owner. Now, technically, I'm a minority because, you know, Trail of Tears and all of that stuff, but I don't care. We take the phrase beholden to no man seriously here. I'm not holding my breath waiting for my government check to show up because, drum roll please, I do not predicate my life on the successful delivery of government checks. I earn my own checks. And I realize that there are a lot of people that need that assistance, and I don't begrudge them that one bit. But some people haven't received those checks at all. Some people, very likely, will never receive those checks. And in the big scheme of things, why are we just printing money? Now, we've been printing money forever and a day. We could have a big, deep discussion, and it would very likely be valid and relevant about the gold standard. And interestingly, how anybody who tries to go back to the gold standard somehow gets shot by a lone gunman who was a lunatic and acting crazy. We have fiat currency. We have money by decree. We've had money by decree for a long time. 1963-ish. 57 years? 67 years? The math. More coffee is indicated. 57 years. But here's the deal. I don't think it's a good idea to print more money just to be able to put it in the hands of the people. I think it would be much better to let people go back to work and do their jobs. Now, for a lot of people, their jobs aren't there anymore because of coronavirus. Not because of the virus, but because of the overarching government reaction to coronavirus. That's a whole nother debate for another time. But the HEALS Act, what does it do? It gives some people a little bit more money. It's a Band-Aid. It does not return people to work. It does not create opportunities for people to be industrious. It does not create the opportunity for the pursuit of happiness. It's a Band-Aid. Now, sometimes Band-Aids are needed. And depending on which side of the political line you fall on, you may be for or against this Band-Aid. Maybe this Band-Aid is needed, but at some point, can we go back to work? This virus has a 99-point-something% survivability rate. 99-point-something% survivability rate. Can we go back to work, please? I've been saying this since March. I believe the coronavirus is being used as the plausible deniability, the scapegoat to systematically crash land the world's economies because they were going to crash anyway. And so the coronavirus is the thing that allows that to happen, hopefully without too many shots being fired. Because yes, we've got rioting and protests in the streets, but that's a lot better than full-blown war with Asia, if you're counting the cost. Another story for another time. It does cut unemployment payments, which I think is good because there's a lot of people who could go back to work but aren't going back to work because they're making more on unemployment than they were at work. And of course people would say, well, maybe they should get paid more at work. Well, again, I don't want to sound like a pompous asshole, but the employer takes all the risk in the business. If I don't do my job well, my employees can go get another job. I lose everything. Well, I actually don't lose everything because I don't believe in debt and I don't believe in being leveraged. So we bootstrap everything. So you can't take my house because it's paid for. You can't take my land because it's paid for. You can't take my truck because it's paid for. You can't take my wife's car because it's paid for. You can't take my inventory because it's paid for. You might be able to evict me from my office space that I lease. we'd find another one. But I'm absorbing all of the risk as the employer. This is yay capitalism. He who produces the most benefit earns the most money. Asterisk, caveat, old boys club, government contracts, systematic oppression, man. But I do think it's good that they're cutting unemployment benefits, because if you can go back to work, you should go back to work. If your job doesn't exist anymore, please find a new one. That's easier said than done, Bear. I get it, man. I've lived and worked in 38 of the lower 48. Don't conflate easy and good. Just because it's not easy doesn't mean it's not good. Let's move on. Federal officers will remain wherever attacks on federal property and personnel continue. More officers may even be on the way to Portland. Good. At this point, you've had your temper tantrum. Let's find out just how fun it is to pull out your asp baton and start whacking people in the funny bones. That's police brutality. Only in response to civilian brutality. I'm not big on starting fights, but boy, I like ending them. U.S. Attorney Billy Williams said, quote, "It is not a solution to tell federal officers to leave when there continues to be attacks on federal property and personnel. We are not leaving the buildings unprotected to be destroyed by people intent on doing so." End quote. Good for you, Billy Williams. Good for you. I agree. Appeasing the mob does not work. Any even minor student of history can tell you appeasing the mob does not work. What they do is they shift the Overton window, shift their demands, and now the appeasement that you have given them is nothing but a token. And they move on to even more demands. You have to change even more. And while I fully believe that every one of us has the right to peaceably assemble and redress our grievances to our governing bodies, that is not what is happening in Portland or elsewhere around the country. And some would say, well, that's not what happened during the Boston Tea Party either. Fair enough. But don't conflate spoiled, rotten a-holes having a temper tantrum with righteous anger because of taxation without representation and grievous injustices relating to religious liberties. They're not the same thing. The Marxist revolution is not the same thing as the Revolutionary War here in the United States of America. They're not the same thing. Do you see men with families and wives and fortunes on the line out there standing shoulder to shoulder fighting the man? No, you see spoiled, rotten brats fighting the man. And because their parents didn't whip their asses when they were young, now they need these federal police officers to whip their asses when they're old. They're not the same thing. Can't see the button. There's the button. That's the button I'm looking for. Thank you. Holy, holy, holy. Bless you. Thank you. Another viral video showing medical professionals discussing their views on hydroxychloroquine is being banned and removed across the internet. Even Donald Trump Jr. was banned from using Twitter for 12 hours after one of his posts included the footage. Twitter has said it violated its COVID-19 misinformation rules. I saw another source, CNN, was saying that it was funneling people to authoritative resources on COVID-19 rather than showing that video. The question becomes, who determines what is an authoritative resource on COVID-19? Because earmuffs, kids, your numbers are bullshit. We know this. We know that there are people who have not been tested who are being called and saying, you've tested positive for coronavirus. We know that every test is counted as a new case. So if one person is tested 10 times, they count it as 10 cases. We know that in Florida, they thought the infection rate was 84% because of the testing in certain counties, and it was actually 8%. We know that the coronavirus test tests for coronaviruses, not COVID-19, meaning that if you have the common cold, you get a positive coronavirus test, or a bacterial infection of the lungs, you get a positive coronavirus test. And we know that for the vast majority of people, 80+% of people, you're sick for a couple of days, you have a fever, you feel like you have a cold, and then you're over it. This is not about public safety. This is, in my humble opinion, about crash landing the United States economy and ergo, therefore, the world economy. As safely, air quote, as they can. Which, of course, turns into never let a good crisis go to waste. But this is not about COVID-19. I saw some of this. My wife and I watched some of it laying in bed last night. Frankly, what I saw of it, I thought made a lot of sense. Always acknowledging my particular bias. Because I have been on record since jump of saying this COVID thing is a bunch of BS. So yeah, I have a bias. That's Lance. Top has a different crow. That was Top. I was just doing a little radio check. This is me, over. I thought that was a good presentation, what I saw of it, maybe the first 20, 30 minutes of it. Dissenting opinion. What's important here is that dissenting opinion is being scrubbed from the internet. I don't know if anybody tried to catch my broadcast yesterday on YouTube, the first time or the second time. And then the third time when we just went to Patreon, I was like, F it, Patreon only. I have never had that happen before. My live stream was shut down twice. Twice. Ended. I didn't end it. It was ended for me by YouTube twice. The scrubbing of dissenting information is real. This is the equivalent of Nazi book burning. And I think should be treated as such. Brandon Sweeney. Bear, what are your thoughts on Mike Glover's American contingency? Also recently sent in donation to Grindstone. Bless you, Brandon, and thank you. Typically Q&A is done on Tactical Tuesday, which we didn't do last night because frankly I'm tired of answering the same 30 questions over and over every Tuesday. Will it be back next week? Maybe. We'll see. And also, frankly, there's 96,000 people who espouse to support this channel. I'd like to see more engagement. There's 1,100 people here. We got 262 people who clicked the little like button. I'd like to see more engagement. YouTube don't like me. I don't like YouTube back. And in a lot of senses, there's days where I feel, frankly, a little disadvantaged being on YouTube. I feel like there's an expectation here on YouTube that does not exist on Patreon. And beholden to no man, I take seriously. So when I feel that expectation creeping into the realm of uncomfortability, I pull back. So typically we answer questions like that on Tactical Tuesday, which we did not do last night. I reached out to Mike Glover's American Contingency and said, hey, yo, it's Bear from the internet, let's talk. And I've not heard anything back. And that is all I will say right now because I don't have a fullness of understanding And when I do have a fullness of understanding, one way or the other, I will bring it to y'all. But I would like to speak with the gentleman first, hear the timbre of his voice, take the measure of the man, and understand better what it is specifically that he is trying to accomplish. I did note that their Intel page, I liked the way that their web designer set up their Intel page. I thought that was good. But other than that, I don't have an opinion. However, what they are doing is essentially the forums at bearindependent.com. And I would encourage you to go to the forums at bearindependent.com. You do not need to put your name, rank, and serial number up there. You just need to find like-minded people and then begin the dating process with them. Also, bearindependent.com, you can use your HSA, your FSA, but preferably not the NSA at bearindependent.com for med kits. The Bare Fac and the Bare Minimum are handmade, made in America, guaranteed forever. Purpose-built to treat gunshot wounds for law enforcement, military, civilian EMS, firefighters, and sheepdogs. And we sell a lot of those to those types of people. North American Rescue Components, it is the best blowout kit on the market. I would put it up against anybody else's blowout kit. It exceeds military specification. We have worked with American Special Forces medics to put this kit together and to refine this kit. We're now on Gen 2.5. And it's a phenomenal kit. 11 lives saved with the Bare Fac to date that we know of. And we have these kits currently actively deployed. And so we're learning lessons from the use of these kits every day. We're receiving constant feedback on the way the kit deploys, the contents of the kit, the durability of the kit, the arrangement of the internal components, so forth and so on, so that we're constantly product improving, because we're constantly getting feedback from people that actually carry these things to save their buddies' lives. So it's not some piece of garbage commoditized pouch from China stuffed with pieces of garbage commoditized medical products and then packaged at 3 times the wholesale cost and sold to you at retail. It's not what it is. My margins are low on these kits, intentionally low, so that A, I can pay the Americans who build them a living wage, and B, I can get as many kits as possible into the hands of good people to use them. You can get them at bearindependent.com. You can use your health savings account, your flexible savings account, your FSAs, on anything that's medical related. The 6th, September 6th training event, TCCC training event is sold out. There are still dates available for the 20th. So if you'd like to learn how to use your kit, I will be there. We will have a couple of other instructors there as well. September 20th, that's on the website under first aid kits. You'll find that training. You can also use your HSA, FSA on the stomp bag, on the adventure kit. James, send me an email. Send me an email. My email is in the description of every video. It's also on Patreon. Send me an email and the subject line, put $50 tier. And I will answer to the best of my ability. You can use your FSA, HSA on the stomp bag, the adventure kit, soon to be the Baja kit. When that's put in the store, that's coming. The trauma pack inserts and all of the medical equipment that's there. Chest seals, compressed gauze, SWAT tees, cat tourniquets, all that stuff you can use that for. So, bearindependent.com for that. We got a cruise. I got a thing to do shortly. 2 or more eyewitness accounts, continuity of infrastructure and supply chains, repeating shortages of coin, aluminum cans, and pressure-treated lumber continue. Legal, political, and military. The New York State Supreme Court ordered the NYPD to turn over names, zip codes, and license categories of anyone granted a firearm license in 2018 after the New York Daily News made the request under the Freedom of Information Act because their reporters, quote, frequently cover gun-related political and policing issues, end quote. And, quote, names and addresses of all firearms licenses were public information. And I'm getting rained on. Sprinkled. A little sprankly. So that's bullpucky. The New York State Supreme Court sucks. The NYPD should not turn over that information. If it's a matter of public record, let them search for it. And the New York Daily News should, man, I understand some people let their kids watch this show, but it's only the fact that I know that sometimes there are kids watching that really keep me from going from PG-13 to R. Let's just say I have R-rated things to say about the New York Daily News. Societal in general. A Seattle radio host who defended the peaceful protesters on Twitter now says, quote, I feel like I need to buy a firearm, end quote, after rioters vandalized and looted the area, including the Starbucks in his apartment complex. Yeah, they set it on fire. How peaceful are your protests now, bro? Idealism increases with distance from the problem. It is one of my favorite quotes. Idealism increases with distance from the problem. If you're not in the problem, maybe not the best idea to be pontificating on the problem. Says the guy who's aware of the fact that he's talking about international news on his back porch in rural Oklahoma. I get it. But you can't call rioting mostly peaceful protests. I heard on the news, who was it? Stubergear at the Blaze said that that is a ridiculous phrase. It's like saying that O.J. Simpson was mostly peaceful on the night that Nicole Simpson was murdered. And I thought that was a great analogy. The mostly peaceful does not matter in the context of the brutality that takes place. That's bullcrap. Single accounts, insider intel, and miscellaneous. Coffee. A contract engineer notes that market demand was down 80% compared to last year in Nashville, a city that weathered the 2008 aftermath quite well. In middle of nowhere, Oregon, a contributor was confronted and extensively harassed by grocery store staff for not wearing a mask or a face shield. He was explicitly told that if he did not wear the face shield, he would not be able to buy anything in the store. Thank you, Lance. Gettysburg, South Dakota. Quote, this is the second time outsiders have come to Gettysburg to protest in the past month, and this is the second time that the protest has fizzled, end quote. Veterans, citizens, and law enforcement show up as counter-presence to potential troublemakers. Good job, Gettysburg, South Dakota. Bad job, eyebrow. Well, why will you not behave yourself? And a visit to a local gun shop in Pennsylvania left a viewer stunned. The pistol cases were nearly bare, and only a handful of long arms were on the shelves. Other customers said the PICS system was still down. Quote, I know the owners and the staff at the store very well. They wouldn't ration ammo if they could get their hands on it, meaning that rationing is not taking place here. And in international news, the Indian Navy, they've only got 1 billion people, don't worry about them. The Indian Navy has deployed a large number of ships to the Indian Ocean to send a message to China. Whiskey, Alpha, Romeo. Oh, people. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. We know this. I am not saying we are living in end times, but I am saying there is a pattern to history. And I believe what is spoken about in Matthew 24, there'll be pestilence, plague, and disease, and scarcity of food. And nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Nation is ethnos, it's people groups. How are people groups defined today? By their skin color, because apparently kindergarten didn't work on the vast majority of this country. We have to argue about which color is better. Are you effing kidding me? Ethnos, kingdom against kingdom, and nation, nation against nation is ethnos, and kingdom against kingdom, that's state, countries. Wars and rumors of wars. Pestilence, plague, we're living it. Ethnos, living it. Kingdom against kingdom, it's coming. Food scarcity, it's coming. And I'm not saying this is end times, but I am saying that history repeats itself. It follows a pattern. All of this comes from scarcity of resources. War is a function of resources on its most basic level. It is deploying certain resources against the protection of or acquisition of other certain resources. That's what it is. As resources become more scarce, the war hype will continue. And I really, really hope it's just hype. I don't want war with anybody. What I really want is normalcy. That's what I really want. I'm over being correct. My ego does not require that I am correct about all this preparedness stuff. I would like to be wrong and be able to go on vacation with my family. I would like to be wrong and be able to grow my business and my local economy. I'd like to be wrong and hell, maybe just run for some type of local government seat and make this particular area of eastern Oklahoma a little bit better. I don't think that's the case. I'd like to be wrong and worship and fellowship with people that I love and be in communion with my Creator. I don't think I'm wrong. And I'm not happy about the fact that I don't think I'm wrong. And I would love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong. A year from now, I want all 1,200 of you who are here right now to be able to go, Bear, you were totally wrong. I'm so mad at you that I stacked food to the rafters and that I zeroed my rifle and that I met my neighbors. How dare you? Guilty as charged. I would take that reality over the potential reality that's coming any day of the week. War is a considerable portion of that potential reality. The OIRSA has issued an alert to detect locust outbreaks in Central America. Food scarcity, question everything, thank you. And reports of increased weaponry and improved military technologies continue to grow. That's it for international news. At adventurefrontier.com, there are bros. If you need stuff, armor, IFAKs, prepper gear, fluffy bunnies, they got you. adventurefrontier.com. Get your Spartan armor. Level 3 plus, level 4, multi-hit ceramic plates, side plates, single curve, triple curve, anti-spall coating, Ranger carrier, MOP-C, blah, 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 blah. They got it. You can use promo code BEARNATION for $10 off your armor. You can get the Bear Fac and the Bear Minimum there. Best blowout kit on the market. And you can also get your fluffy bunnies there, or as Aspen calls them, evil hamsters. So you can get fluffy bunnies and or evil hamsters there. Where do we go? AdventureFrontier.com. Actionable. Check your hand sanitizers. The FDA continues to increase warnings about various hand sanitizers containing dangerous or lethal alcohols. Also, pro tip, do not attempt to snort or smoke them either. Or maybe do and remove yourself from the gene pool, whatever floats your boat. Remember to support the elderly. Many of them are practically in solitary confinement. So reach out, let them know that they're loved. It's the same thing with people who are stuck at home. Suicide is on the rise, even among children sequestered at home. You guys know about alternative food resources. Get creative, look around. We're having good luck with restaurant supply stores right now. We are not taking our foot off the accelerator when it comes to food storage. Bear, it's expensive. In the micro, yes, historically food prices are up in the micro. In the macro, they're cheap. Let me remind you, if you believe in the Bible, Joseph, during the time of Joseph, Pharaoh had a vision, 7 fat cows and 7 skinny, half-dead cows, and he had no idea what was going on. And even his magician couldn't figure it out. And they said, hey, we got this guy, he's in prison, Joseph, let's go talk to Joseph. So Joseph's like, hey, I got you, man. 7 years of fat, 7 years of lean. You have 7 good years right now to stock up. And then there'll be a scarcity of food in the land. Do you know that the phrase scarcity of food or famine occurs in the Bible 87 different places? 87 different places. It's almost as if the Father has been trying to tell you there's a scarcity of food coming. These things happen. History repeats itself. There are cycles that these things take. And scarcity of food from the first book of the Bible to the last book of the Bible occurs 87 times. Joseph says, hey man, we got 7 good years to stack it to the rafters now, because we're going to have 7 years where there's nothing. The first year of the famine, people were trading, buying and selling for grain, silver, gold, whatever they had. Second year, still kind of that. Third year, now they started to get into land and property. Fourth year, Pharaoh and Joseph owned most of the property because people were trading their property for land and livestock. By the 6th and 7th year, people were selling themselves into bondage so that they could remain fed, so that they could eat. People counted the cost and said, I could stay over here and freely starve to death, or I could literally put myself in chains so that I might eat. Well, I'm here to tell you, I'm not putting myself or my family or my loved ones in chains so that we can eat. We are not taking our foot off the accelerator when it comes to food storage, and neither should you. Silver linings, which we need more of. Intel at bearindependent.com. Quote, my family and I have just signed a contract for a new home with acreage, a barn with stalls, a creek, and room for our kids to be kids. It will allow us to raise animals and garden, as well as help our baby girl who will need special education and our son who has way too much energy. And it is an exciting time and a huge positive in our lives. Amen. That is awesome. You little bastard. Forums at bearindependent.com. Store at bearindependent.com. Check them out. It's where all the cool kids hang out. Veterans for Child Rescue. Vets, the number 4, childrescue.org. Craig Sawyer. Go check them out. They are on a mission to help end the sale of children as product for sex. If that is not something you can get down with, if you disagree with that, get the off of my channel right now. Leave. We are on the same mission at grindstoneministries.com. Children are not product. Children are not for sex. Pedophilia is not a sexual preference. It is a mental issue that should be solved with hollow points. And when those kids are broken, they need a place to be put back together again. We are scheduling our final deployment to Bethany House this very moment so that we can get in there, finish up the last few things, and they will be operational and they can begin the process of rehabilitating and restoring victims of human trafficking and sex crimes. So check out Vets for Child Rescue, Vets, the number 4, childrescue.org, and grindstoneministries.com. To support Grindstone, check out sanctifiedsupplyco.com, disastercoffee.com, and amendment, the number 1, preparedness.com. You can use code BEAR for 10% off at Sanctified Supply Co. As always, the entirety of this report is available on Patreon. I really do appreciate you, Patreon. It's days like yesterday that make it infinitely clear the difference between Patreon and YouTube. So thank you for supporting us there. You are the economic engine of the Bear Nation, and we would not do this YouTube show without you. So if you've got $1 or more per month in your pocket and you see value in what we do here, please consider Patreon. And as always, send your intel and silver linings to intel@bearindependent.com. Keep the dance monkeys fed. If they get too thin, they refuse to work, then I have a labor strike on my hands. It's terrible. It's terrible. So your tasty intel nuggets are required so that we may continue to do this. Now, let us talk to our Heavenly Father. While being serenaded by roosters. Good morning, Father Yah. Thank you for this. Father, thank you for provision and blessing. Thank you for convicting us to heed your voice and do your things, Father. Thank you for my awesome wife, and for my awesome kids, and for my awesome team, for my awesome neighbors and friends, for Bear Clan, for our tribe, Father. Thank you for all these awesome people that you've brought into our life. Father, thank you for rain. Thank you for the provision and blessing of land and for the conviction to work it, to weather whatever's coming. Father, if there's anything within the sound of my voice that's not of you, I rebuke it in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach and command it to flee. Here and everywhere within the sound of my voice. Father, I pray you just fill us up with your Ruach HaKodesh, your Holy Spirit. That you'd be indwelt in us, that we would know you personally today, that we would feel your hand on our life, that you would walk with us and guide us and teach us how to live this life that you gave us. Thank you for making a way for restoration and redemption for broken, busted up POSs, and for using us for your glory. Father, thank you that your mercies are made new daily, and that you literally go to war on behalf of your people. Father, I pray that you would lift these people up, that you would bless them today, and that you would send your Ruach to convict them concerning sin and righteousness and judgment, and that we would be a living testimony of how freaking awesome you are. Father, thank you. Thank you for the walk. Thank you for the journey. In Yeshua's name, amen. Appreciate y'all. I hope y'all have an awesome day. Love you back, Cody. A rooster's fixing to say, "Oh crap, I've been shot." Badger, bless you, brother. I'm gonna go do the things. I hope y'all have an awesome day.